Hello everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Steven and today we're going to be reading some I Don't Work Here lady stories. Tales of some of the most awkward, frustrating, or otherwise inconvenient exchanges one could have. And let me just say, if you're not already subscribed to Storytime, please consider doing so, but with that being said, let's sit back, relax, and listen to some captivating Reddit stories. Mistaken for a Subway employee, make a lifetime friend. This takes place more than 10 years ago. I was 8 when this happened. I was with my family and it was after church and my parents had to stop at Walmart to get some things they forgot while shopping the night before. So here we are at Walmart on Sunday. It was hot and humid as is typical for southern Louisiana. It was after church. I was tired and hungry and complaining rather loudly to my mom. My sister, who was 17 at the time, squeezed my hand and told me to shut up. Being 9 years older, she can do that. I did shut up and walked with my mom until we got to the cashier and check out. Now as a treat, and me for behaving, my mom raised my sister and me that if we did something good we got a treat. We go to Subway. Now most Walmarts I've been in have a Subway connected to it. So we go into Subway, go in and place our orders. My mom asked me to go and get napkins when I hear an older woman ask if I can get her napkins. Now this lady at this time was in her late 50s and had a German accent. "Can you hand me some napkins, please?" "Yeah, sure." I hand her some napkins that I had gathered. It was a rather large stack of napkins because we all ordered something messy. "Oh, thank you, honey." I nod and walk away to my family and start to eat. A few minutes later, Greta comes over to my table and started talking to my mom. "I'm sorry about interrupting your meal, but I wanted to ask if this is your young lady?" Mom tilts her head to her side. Yeah?" Looking at me like I did something I wasn't supposed to do. I wasn't a bad child, but my mom never liked it when strangers talked about me. "I just wanted to say that she's a very sweet girl. I just moved here from Germany and I don't know my way around here. Is it okay if I buy her a cookie?" My mom smiles, a very proud smile. My mom raised my sister and me to help people without reward. It was the whole gold rule deal. She goes to the worker and says that she is such a good worker and deserves a cookie for being such a good girl, giving winks to the worker. She comes back and starts having a conversation with my parents, and we discover that she ended up going to the same church as us. So, in the end, we ended up making a lifelong friend. Oh, this is a very wholesome story and it made a lifelong friend. I don't know how many of these stories end up with such a sweet ending, but this was definitely one of the top ones. Completely different colors. This happened to me twice in the same day and it never happened again. I work at a coffee shop in whatever grocery store. My uniform for that is all black. Black shoes, shirt, pants, etc. I love my store, but they only sell food and cleaning supplies. So if I need something else, I need to take a detour. Anyway, I took a detour to the store with the big red circle on the way to work one day to pick up a pair of earbuds. I'm in my uniform to do this. For non-Americans, workers at the big red circle store wear red polo shirts and khakis. Distinctively not all black, which is what I was required to wear for my completely different job. I'm in the electronics section, crouched down to decide which pair of earbuds I want when a lady walks up to me. "Miss?" "Yeah?" "Can you unlock this case for me? I want this pair of headphones." "Oh, I don't work here, sorry." "You don't?" "I work at my grocery store a couple miles north." "Oh, sorry." She leaves. I thought she was quite nice and I was looking forward to the laugh with my coworkers when I told them about this, but it only gets better. I picked out the earbuds, which weren't locked away because they were cheap AF, and made my way over to the checkout line. I'm on my phone, barely paying attention, when another lady walks up. She didn't look like a Karen, but any Midwest white mom can be a Karen. "You really shouldn't be on your phone at work." "What?" "Put your phone away and do this for me." She waggles a bikini on a hanger in front of my face. Me, completely flabbergasted. "I'm sorry, what?" "Oh my god, just do your job and put this bikini away." "Ma'am, I don't..." I could just call over your manager because you were on your phone and being so rude to me." "I don't work here." "Sure you do, you're wearing a uniform." "Yes, it's my uniform, but it's for my job at my grocery store. I'm on my way there after I buy these earbuds." "Oh." She shuffles away, actually looking embarrassed. I didn't bother getting the attention of a real employee because I didn't think it was that big a deal, but my uniform and the big red circle store uniforms are completely different. At least I got a funny story out of all that. I gotta tell you, the amount of stories I hear like this where they just completely don't listen to you when you say you don't work there boggles me. If I'm talking to somebody and I say, can you help me with something, and they say I don't work here, I'm not gonna press them and say that they do just because it looks like they have a uniform on. I sure hope that Karen was actually embarrassed. But you have a name tag. I used to work at a large American retail chain that's really popular among preteens and young adults. It was nearing our busy season, back to school, so I worked a ton of hours. During those times, it was required by our managers that we wear a name tag so that customers could identify us if they needed some help. Now, the name tag is just one of those cheap cards on a lanyard, but it has the company name in big, bold letters and the company logo. This is important, we'll play in later. I had just gotten off work and walked out as fast as I could because I had a long day with no break since we were understaffed. I had just gotten paid and the mall where my work was at didn't close for another couple of hours, so I decided to go shopping. I didn't check to see if I was still wearing my tag. I was exhausted and I didn't want to be in there any longer. I popped into a makeup store and was just browsing and stopped in an aisle to answer a few text messages. I then heard someone ask loudly, "Excuse me, can you please help me?" I instinctively look up because I'm still in customer service mode, been hearing that phrase all day. I see a younger looking guy approaching me. He then proceeds to ask me if I can help him find some product that his girlfriend wants. I get really confused because I don't work there and there's plenty of employees around to help him. "Sorry, but I don't work here," I say as I'm about to turn back to my phone. He then points down to my shirt and says, "But you have a name tag." I look down and, sure enough, I am wearing a tag that has the big bold letters and logo on it from my work. That is definitely not from this store. Not to mention the employees here were wearing black shirts and slacks, and I was wearing a yellow blouse and jean shorts. And I was very obviously on my phone and I had my purse with me. I now get the impression that this guy in front of me is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I laugh a little and explain to him that this is from my store and that I accidentally wore this out when I got off, but that I don't work here. He looks at me for a second and then asks me, "But can you still help me find this?" I get a little annoyed and tell him there's plenty of employees that actually work here that can help him and walk off. I'm off the clock and, sir, I don't work here. How are you gonna stand there, hear the person say that they don't work there, acknowledge that their name tag is from a different store, and then follow that up with, "But can you help me find this thing?" Like as if they magically do know where whatever you're asking for is. That's such a low IQ thing to say. This dude is not the brightest for sure. Same uniform, different store. I am a cashier in a store a couple towns away and pass through a town with another of our stores on the way to and from work. To make it easier, I'll call my store Store A and the other Store B. Both stores shut at 8 p.m., but there are people there after hours to tidy and prepare the store for the next day. None are cashiers. I have considered transferring to Store B as it is roughly half the distance, but have decided not to for several reasons, including the staff always looking miserable in there. It's thought of as being a rough area and the reason I am posting this. Just around the corner from Store B, there is a supermarket with a fueling station, and I fill up there as they're usually cheaper and have a points and reward thing. Over the road is a car dealership that sells some really nice cars. Think Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, etc. I usually get changed out of my uniform before I leave work if I'm planning on going anywhere on the way home, including getting fuel. One day, I was on the closing shift and it was my last shift before a week holiday. I was driving up country for a few days, and I had planned on getting fuel on the way the next day, so didn't get changed. I don't know why, but I changed my mind and filled up on the way home. This was a mistake. I was stood there, putting fuel in my car and looking over at the nice cars for sale when suddenly I hear a woman screaming, "Hey, what the heck are you doing here?" At first, I thought it was just two people that have fallen out and are about to argue or fight. This was also a mistake. A woman gets out of the car at the next pump and comes over, grabs me, and yanks me around to her face and starts shouting at me. Being in uniform, I didn't want to escalate the situation, so I asked her to quiet down and to tell me who she was and what she's shouting about. She acted like I was the least intelligent person ever to exist and told me she was a manager in store B and shouts that I should be at work and she's not paying me to lounge around like a moron and she's going to dock my pay. I told her I'm a cashier in store A several times throughout the conversation. I was scheduled up until they shut 15 to 20 minutes ago, meaning there's nothing for me to go back to do and wouldn't get paid if I did stay. She was having none of it. She demanded to have my name and employee number. I kinda gave up at this point, so asked her what sort of a manager doesn't know their employees, feels like they can shout at people outside of work, whether they work for her or not, like me, in a built-up public space, and grab them in the way she did, and that she should leave me alone immediately, otherwise police and head office will be called. Both of whom I'm sure would love to hear about a manager assaulting staff from another store, nowhere near either store while both are in uniform. And they can see the evidence on the fueling station CCTV. She backed off a little, demanding I go to the office the following morning, even if I'm not working that day. I told her that as I'm now on holiday for the next week, if I have to go to her office, I expect to be reimbursed for the holiday time I'll be missing. She started screaming again, so I told her I've finished, so we'll carry it on tomorrow, where I will get paid, got in my car, told her to stand back so I don't run her toes over, and left. Pay at pump. The following morning, I phoned Store A and told them the situation and told them she said I'd get the day of the holiday back and paid, which she did mention, and, as expected, they refused. I then phoned Store B, she didn't answer but another manager did, and explained in detail what happened and that I am unable to attend and told them I didn't want anything from it except a guarantee it won't happen to anyone else. The day I went back to work, she came in and saw me working there. I asked if she believed where I worked now and she turned white as a ghost and left. My boss saw and told me she overheard the manager on the phone to head office explaining what had happened and she asked why my name was being used so much. The manager explained what happened and was told the lady was no longer going to have any authority anymore if she was lucky to remain employed in any of our stores. She's still employed but no longer a manager. This manager wasn't just abusing their staff, they were literally assaulting people. They're lucky OP didn't call the police and have them actually have a charge. Getting demoted is probably the best case scenario for this person. They got off easy. I don't work here, but... Note, this isn't so much the story of an irate customer as of a confused and relatively forward customer. Okay, so this happened a few years ago. I used to live relatively close to a Guitar Center and a Sam Ash, both music stores, that were right across the highway from one another. Lord knows why. I liked the Sam Ash a lot more, though, and my parents would often drop me off there. I couldn't drive, while they did their shopping in other nearby stores. I would spend somewhere between 45 minutes and 2 hours freaking around at Sam Ash, usually playing mandolins and ukuleles I couldn't afford. One day, a woman in her 30s, I think, comes into the acoustic instruments room. I'm pretty shy, so I don't even really acknowledge her by saying hi or anything. I continue to pace around the place and pick up instruments. She walks around a little bit and looks at guitars, as you do, even when you don't need or want a guitar. I'm not being sarcastic, I do that often. After a bit, the woman walks up to me. She doesn't ask if I work at Sam Ash, doesn't introduce herself, nothing. Just sort of walks up and starts talking. She says something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm looking for a ukulele. I want to start learning, but I'm not looking for a super cheap one. I want something that sounds nice to start with. I was wondering which one you think would be best." Now, she wasn't unreasonable to think I worked there. Sam Ash doesn't have a strict uniform, and most of their employees are young, scrawny men who wear plaid flannel over band shirts and jeans. I was a scrawny young man wearing jeans and a band shirt with a plaid flannel over it. All I was missing was a crappy hand tattoo and a name tag on a lanyard. I could have cut her off and told her I didn't work there, but I'm generally too polite to interrupt people in situations like that. After she finishes, I say, "Well, I don't work here, but I might be able to help." I then went on to talk about some of the ukuleles I liked the best of the bunch that they had in stock. Like I said, I was there relatively frequently while my parents were off shopping, so I knew the products pretty well. I even went so far as to take the price quality scale into mind. Something that's really good might be really pricey and vice versa. So you generally want to go with something that's pretty good quality and also affordable, unless you're specifically looking for an expensive instrument, which she wasn't. I end up settling on my favorite ukulele of the bunch. Good quality, good price, very pretty finish. I'd had my eye on it for a while, and even though I didn't have any income at the time, I had a plan to buy it with birthday or Christmas money at some point. I could have fed her some bull about it and said it was a bad instrument and she wouldn't want it, but I felt obligated to use my genuine knowledge of the subject to actually help her. So I did. The next time I go to Sam Ash, I head to the acoustic instruments room, same as always. And something's different. Everything looks just the same as how I'd left it in the ukulele and mandolin corner, except my favorite ukulele, the one I'd recommended to the woman who'd approached me, was gone. I can't say for sure that she bought it, but I'd like to think she did. It makes me happy to imagine that I helped someone pick out an instrument to learn on. It's kind of a bittersweet ending for this one. It's kind of sad that OP didn't get the ukulele that they liked so much, their absolute favorite one, but it's nice to hear that they gave genuine, thoughtful knowledge on the subject to the lady and probably helped her pick out a good choice to learn the ukulele. So I definitely think it's not something that OP should frown on when thinking about. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening to and watching the Storytime channel. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and leave any feedback you can in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching and listening to the Storytime channel.